Okay, what do you think, guys? Straight to Aaron, or shall we dispose of the site plan review remand? Oh, there's Roseanne.
I have a 6 o'clock that I need to go for, so just as an FYI.
Okay, well, then I would entertain a motion to open the meeting of the Holyoke Planning Board.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Nathan,
yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Mimi,
Yes.
and Rosanna.
Looks like she's still joining.
Well, we only need 3.
We only need 3.
Yep.
And anyway, so our OPED director, Aaron Vega, is with us tonight. And Aaron, thank you for making the time. I know you and Kate have been talking, and we just are very interested in being in contact with the other side of the office about what economic development is doing and what kinds of projects you have running and life in general. I think we all feel like more information exchanged between the halves of the office may just help us coordinate better and help us ward off potential problems before we get there. So,
Absolutely.
uh,
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and to the members. I think that I've been trying to definitely merge as best as possible the two sides of the office. We've been bringing Jeff and before him other members, into different conversations. We try not to bring Jeff into too many conversations until they actually say they're going to come to fruition. So we do spend a lot of time on this side of the office, so to speak, hearing grand ideas, and until it's really something feasible, we'll try to bring in the planning side. So lots of different things going on, but I figured I would bring up just 4 things that'll actually probably come to you, maybe 5 things that maybe come to you in some degree, in some way. So first thing I would mention is that hydrogen production is becoming a thing and a very big focus in Holyoke. There are currently 3 companies looking to locate some aspect of hydrogen production in the city of Holyoke. The main reason why these companies are interested in Holyoke, there's 2 reasons. The first one being obviously Holyoke Gas and Electric. There are different grades to hydrogen, gray, pink, brown, and green. Obviously green being the highest level. Don't quote me on the other colors in the order that they're in, but obviously if the hydrogen is made with green energy, green power, it's the best grade of hydrogen that there is. So obviously Holyoke Gas and Electric portfolio is very attractive to the hydrogen companies. Additionally, the federal government does have a large grant program and also tax credits for hydrogen companies to be locating throughout the country. There's been a lot of movement in the state of California on hydrogen, including hydrogen vehicles. So that sort of momentum is expanding. So we have 3 companies. One of them is already talking with our building commissioner and with Jeff. At this point, they're just going to be leasing space to start actually producing hydrogen. They're a company called Revo Zero, and they have some contracts with some airports within the New England area, and they are working with the city of Holyoke to possibly introduce and slowly phase in hydrogen vehicles, which leads me to one aspect that you will probably be taking up at some point. Jeff and I have been talking about the need to redefine our service or fueling stations. Probably should already be thinking about upgrading them to include electric, but we may need to be including hydrogen as well. So that's an aspect that'll probably be somewhat of an ordinance amendment or change to allow for hydrogen fueling stations in the city of Holyoke. The other 2 companies that we're in talks with, one is a large company called Infinity, and they are looking to reuse the old Mount Tom coal power plant, part of the federal grant. that they are applying for incentivizes reuse of old coal power plants and also incentivizes the kind of demographics that Holyoke has, so certain census tracts. So both those assets, if you will, made it very viable for this project to come to Holyoke. A group of us are going down to a company next week to sort of see on the ground what they're already doing. That's the third company, and they're looking also in Holyoke. Doosan is the major company that is looking. So we're excited. These are opportunities that have jobs. These are opportunities about energy, clean energy, which is definitely part of the portfolio, the future of the sort of manufacturing that we want to see. I will say the last thing I think on hydrogen is that it's a mix of companies that are making hydrogen to be used as the fuel. So they use electrolyzers and do that science to make the hydrogen. The other company, specifically Infinity, that's looking at the old Mount Tom coal power plant, extensive federal application that we worked with them on. They're looking to actually build the equalizers, build the fuel cells that use hydrogen that are in rockets and in cars and in all sorts of things. So that's really exciting because that's, you know, manufacturing, which is obviously in our DNA here in Holyoke, and lots of jobs. So that's really one that we're really hoping will come to fruition. We should know by the end of the year. They just submitted their application. They were asked to go forward on their pre-app, so that's a good sign. But we'll know by the end of the year if they get that application, that approval.
So is there technical information anywhere that we could just start reading up on this?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Actually, one thing we can probably find some stuff. We've been getting our little science lesson, and I talked to Jeff yesterday, and I have two engineers in the city, or I know through different ways, that have both worked on hydrogen projects in Connecticut. And so I thought about maybe inviting them into some kind of informational hydrogen 101 session, because they don't have any stake in the game. They don't have any project in front of us. So they would just be sort of a neutral eye, if you will, and just give us the facts. So we had talked about that. Perhaps it's a planning board meeting we would utilize and invite other city staff if that works, or set up a separate meeting and invite the planning board to it. So we're going to work that out to kind of do a hydrogen 101, not presented by one of the companies, but by an independent view, if you will.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let me know if we can help.
Okay. Any other questions on hydrogen? All right.
We'll have a lot of questions later.
Yeah. Another company that we're in talks with, very serious talks with, they're talking with MOBD, Mass Office of Business Development, on a TIF project and other aspects. They are looking to purchase a large property in the city of Holyoke that we would very much like to get into new ownership and developed. And in fact, you'll probably see an announcement on Friday related to infrastructure on Water Street that will be tied to this project. The infrastructure work will only happen if this new company purchases the property. And the property we're discussing is down in the Quantum properties, down on Water Street by the canal, and by the kind of in that property space between Holyoke Gas Electric's property all the way basically to Western Mass Eldercare, where Valley Malt is also. So about 15 acres. The company is Sublime. They are a new technology. And again, we've been getting a lot of science lessons here in OPED. They manufacture a very high quality, environmentally friendly, less impact cement. And so little did I know that the processing to make cement is one of the worst things for the environment. And so this company has a brand new process. And we're pretty excited about this one because, again, it would come into an area that, again, we've been seeing the site prep happen to that area, but really been wondering what kind of company could come down to that area. And so the property owner is in talks with them. We're in talks with them as well. They were actually in the city today talking to the mayor's Flex Squad, which is a bunch of different departments that come together, usually based on events in the city, sometimes projects in the city, just a pre-vetting. And again, I've talked to Jeff about setting up sort of a pre-application meeting with them as they start to move forward. So pretty exciting project there. Sublime I can send an email that has a link to their company. Again, Ben Downing, former state rep, former senator out of the Berkshires, works for an environmental company statewide, and he's the one that brought them to us. So we're pretty excited about that. The three other things that I'll mention that again will probably definitely involve planning staff. And we are definitely, I did make note last night at the city council budget meeting that, you know, it's great that we now have our planner one, but Alex's focus, as you know, is on the GIS mapping and doing some preliminary research. You know, as he gets his feet wet, more things will come, but the GIS mapping is the key point focus of his position. Our planner two was kind of more that grants and, you know, sort of helping Jeff with the site plan reviews, and was possibly going to be taking a role in the new comprehensive master plan for the city. So it was brought up last night, you know, that the lack of a planner two position may mean that we need to rely more on consultants to help support the staff in some of the work. Obviously, Jeff has been through this process before and knows what's involved. So we have been approved $150,000 of cannabis impact fee monies to start the process of acquiring a consultant. So Jennifer Key in the office worked with our procurement office and others, I think with Jeff as well. And there's an RFQ out there right now, request for qualifications to get someone in to start the comprehensive master plan. We also have an application at the state level for a grant to pay for it, but Mayor Garcia has indicated that he plans to use ARPA funds. It's probably about a $500,000 cost. So $150,000 from cannabis, we felt was the correct thing to do, because there will be discussions on how we're on energy use, water use. Obviously, cannabis was not legal the last time that the master plan, comprehensive master plan was done for the city, which is over 20 years ago. And so all these different technologies in these companies that I mentioned, Hydrogen, Sublime, you know, they're all big energy users. So a big part of what we've seen in current master plans for city is a lot around municipal vulnerability plans, you know, energy production and the future of energy use. So I think it's important that that conversation is part of the next master plan for the city. So we should, you know, that process, the RFQ should be, I think we have to get submissions back in before the end of this month, because we have to encumber those funds before the end of the fiscal year, which there's only 17 days left. So so master plan, again, I'm sure planning staff and perhaps planning board members will be involved to some degree with that conversation. And then the other two is wayfinding. We were approved, this office was approved for a $200,000 grant from the Mass Gaming Mitigation Fund. We're hoping to put out an RFP for to get a consultant in for wayfinding. Obviously, a lot of cities and towns have been engaged in this process. How do we get people through and around the city? How do we highlight particular points of interest? And how do we navigate people to get to parking and et cetera, et cetera. So with all the new things happening in the city, whether it's murals, whether it's new restaurants, whether it's the parking, different historic districts, et cetera, you know, how do we get people from the highway into the city? We did notice that there's some new signs up on 91 to allow for attractions within the city. So we're going to try to work with MassDOT as well. I'm also going to try to get in a sign review, if you will. That's not the right word I want to look at, but inventory, because it does feel a little bit like, especially in places like Beach Street and other places where there's just so many signs that you kind of just tune them all out. So is there, you know, again, I don't know the regulations. Can some signs be combined under the same poles? Is there certain distances between these signs that should be there so they can be read better by drivers and pedestrians and bicyclists? So that'll be part of the RFQ that goes out. And then we're going to hopefully keep $100,000 of that to actually implement, whether it's new designs for signage, you know, things like the city's been doing the same signage for all the parks. You know, we want to make sure that there's a theme, that there's a design that is fluid throughout the city. And the one other big thing with this is that we do need to indicate in at least two, maybe three areas of the city, how one would get to MGM. Since this is Mass Gaming Mitigation Funds, we need to make sure we have some signage. So we figure that there'd be a sign somewhere on Main Street by the 391 entrance to direct people to go to Springfield to MGM, and then probably one up by maybe up by the soldiers' home or that area on going towards 91 to indicate that's also the way to get to Springfield to the casino. So that'll probably be hopefully the only kind of new signage we have to have in the city. So wayfinding will be an exciting project, I think, for us to undertake. And then the last one, and again, will probably involve more of the planning side staff than it will board members, but of course, maybe board members there might be a working group on this stuff. It's a long-standing conversation in the city, but we're hopefully making a little bit of headway, and that's data integration. We are going to be jumping from, I believe, in October, I was told, we're going to be jumping from Munis version 11.9 or something to that nature that is no longer serviced by Munis to like version 22. So a massive jump in this platform that the city uses basically for everything. And so that, along with 2 departments, use a program called Municity, particularly the building department and the Board of Health. And then, of course, there's other applications within the city. There's some talk about going to UniPay, I think is the program, perhaps. I know I was told that Chicopee uses it, other cities around us use it. So a one sort of stop that you can pay all your bills. Those of you that live in Holyoke, we all know we get the bill, the water department bill, you got to log in with that account, log out, then log in to pay your sewer bill. It's like, just these sort of ridiculous, the amount of information that's required in trying to pay anything online at this point is not user friendly. So data integration would not just be that aspect, but what I think we're really looking for, and again, this is all preliminary conversation, but actually working perhaps more with a designer type of, that's not the right word I'm looking for, but not looking for a new platform. We need someone to come in and actually create pathways as an example. For us to be able to, again, all preliminary, but this is a talking example, for us to go onto our GIS map, which already has so much great information, perhaps another window comes up where then we could see, what are the back taxes on this property? Are there vacant building fee registrations? Are there Board of Health violations? Has there been a building permit pulled on this property? Because we know there's work going on. What other indications can we have? The point that we've made, every department has said, we can't take on another platform, right? We can't take on another application where we have to refill out data. We have to find a way, that's the word, programmers that can find a way for these systems to talk to each other. Much like the Patriot system that Jeff manages there, it's automatically uploaded, right? With the assessor information and that kind of stuff, so that the building department's doing their thing, treasurer's doing their thing, but there's a way for those communications to happen so that another platform that we would just view could have all that information. Different departments have different needs for data integration, but we are very behind as a municipality with data integration. And so that's something that we're taking on, and we're forming a working group. I have funding from a program called Neighborhood Hub, which is run out of Mass Housing. And so we have some funding there. And again, we're probably going to be putting out an RFQ within the next month to get someone in to sort of look at what we have, all the different platforms we have, and could they create a customized program to have these systems talk to each other. So again, long time discussion, I think, in the city, and there's definitely some concerns about making sure there's not extra work for any staff, and how this would all work, because there's even seems to be some glitches with Municity, and there's a company called Polymorphic that we've been working with a bit, and they may be someone that would answer that RFQ, because they are engineers and MIT graduates, and that's what they want to do. They want to design customized systems for data integration. So that's kind of, again, there's other stuff going on, but I know you guys all have a meeting and I got to go to something else, but happy to have these conversations. Willing to come in bi-monthly, or if you want to hear from other staff and other things going on. But I thought these first 5 were things that will probably in some way come across your desk and your work as well. So the hydrogen projects, Sublime, the environmentally friendly concrete company, wayfinding, master plan, and data integration.
Yeah, no, that's tremendously useful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We'll
And
be
happy to
back.
follow up on all those things. So
Well, sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd particularly love to talk more about master plan, but not tonight, sounds like.
Since it's about
Sounds
to tick
good.
over to 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. But yeah, I think that, I'm sure that again, with Jeff's experience with it, but again, having a planning board member or two on a working group for aspects of the master plan, I think will be key.
Okay, well, we'll be there.
All right.
Thanks for
Any
coming,
other-
Aaron.
And again, any other questions from anybody else, or we're good? Rosanna, good to see you. Nathan, Lauren, congratulations on the local historic commission. So we were working with you in multiple capacities.
Thanks.
So. All right,
Okay,
all right. Happy to follow up and have a good rest of your meeting.
you
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next agenda item will require a motion to recess the planning board meeting. Do I hear one?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Okay, roll call vote. Nathan,
yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Kate,
Yes.
Bernander,
Yes.
and Mimi.
Yes. Tell me when you're ready.
You'll hear her talk to you.